Hey everyone, this is Chelsea. My conservation topic is the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. So, off of the southern coast of Florida is the third largest coral barrier reef in the world. It's called the Florida Reef, as well as the largest known seagrass field in the world. These are both conserved by the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. Along with the reef, the marine sanctuary also protects extensive mangrove forests. So in this map, you can see where the sanctuary is. It protects 2,900 square nautical miles of waters that are surrounding the Florida Keys. This sanctuary is also used for research and tourism, as well as fishing. Many people come to the marine sanctuary to go snorkeling, fishing, diving, and boating. Some of the problems that the sanctuary is currently trying to address are overfishing, damage to coral reefs by human activity, eutrophication, reduced freshwater flow, coral bleaching, and other issues that have arise from climate change. So previously there were issues with not only overfishing, but also unsustainable fishing practices and types of nets used and things like that. On the photo on the left, you can see coral bleaching. That's due to many different factors. A lot of it is impacted by climate change. And then on the picture on the right, you can see the pollution so this is a picture from the sanctuary and where the land lines the sanctuary, and there's pollution being brought into the water. In this ecosystem model, you can see how all the different organisms in this sanctuary interact with each other, as well as some of the stresses that impact them, like fishery pressure, also temperature. There have been a lot of changes in the water temperature, which affect a lot of these species, especially the coral reefs. So, the conservation work of the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary is related to biodiversity because the sanctuary is home to a large variety of species, and it aims to create protection by placing restrictions on certain activities in different zones that would be damaging to the ecosystem, and this is called marine zoning. The sanctuary has been split into different zones based off of the area of the ecosystem. So for example, if there is an area where the coral reef is at higher risk for damage, activities like snorkeling and diving would not be permitted there. In the marine sanctuary, conservation is focused on habitat. Many programs have been put in place to conserve the coral reefs because they support many other species of plants and animals. The Blue Star program was put in place to encourage tourists to go on boating trips with guides that have this certification, and the Blue Star program certification is awarded to tour operators who promote sustainable fishing, diving, and snorkeling. The Marine Sanctuary is also offering education and classes to these tour guides so that they can learn more about these sustainable practices. The Marine Sanctuary is also related to conserving biodiversity at a global level because the sanctuary is home to many threatened and endangered species. As you already know, coral reefs around the world are at risk, and so it's very important to protect this one. There's also a lot of endangered animals that live within the sanctuary, like manatees and sea turtles. And by trying to prevent the extinction of these at-risk species, biodiversity is maintained. Policy plays a fundamental role in conservation because it implements measures that people can be held accountable for in order to promote conservation of an area. Policy is a useful tool in conservation as it can be used to create sanctuaries or wildlife refuges, prevent pollution or destruction of ecosystems, as well as many other things. The Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary was administered by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration through the U.S. Department of Commerce. The sanctuary was created and exists under federal law. Both the National Marine Sanctuaries Act and the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary and Protection Act designate the sanctuary and push its conservation. This sanctuary is also managed by the state of Florida, And the National Marine Sanctuaries Act is an act that protects many different marine sanctuaries around the United States. The Florida Keys coral reef ecosystem is very biodiverse. The organismal diversity in the marine sanctuary can be seen in the nearly 6,000 marine species that are in the sanctuary. And of these species, there are 5 different species of sea turtles, 520 species of fish, 367 species of algae, and 122 species of coral. The marine sanctuary depends on biodiversity to maintain ecosystem function. The organisms in this sanctuary depend on one another, so it's important to maintain that biodiversity. Ecosystem services are processes and resources that a healthy ecosystem supplies that humans benefit from without having to pay for them. This sanctuary is a tourist destination and provides a lot of cultural services through recreation and also just the aesthetic value of it. The fish in the sanctuary provide a service of food, and the mangrove forests that line the coastline of the sanctuary protect from storms. They reduce erosion, so those are really important ecosystem services. And these are my works cited, and so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.